speculate that an unidentified technologically advanced population could be secretly living among humans on Earth. Those Harvard researchers joined forces with scientists over at the Montana Technological Institute. In a new paper, the team hypothesized that sightings of UFOs, quote, could be signs of aliens, quote, concealed in stealth here on Earth or even, quote, walking among us. The researchers urged the scientific community to keep an open mind and be open to their claims. The research also shared the possible existence of a non-human underground civilization that may be, quote, descendants of unknown intelligent dinosaurs, and also determined there could be hidden occupants likened to angels or fairies that have traveled to Earth. A lot here to unpack. So I do want to bring in a true expert here, world-renowned Nick Pope, previously ran the British government's UFO project and joins us now live to discuss. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thanks. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Well, first off, as I mentioned, there's a lot to this. So can you break down some of the findings here and what they really say and what they really mean?
Certainly. I think it's important to stress at the outset that this is not, for example, hard astrophysics. This is not a group of scientists saying, we have found something and here are the data. This is more, it is a multidisciplinary project, and it does indeed come out of Harvard, but it blends really philosophy and theology. And I characterize it as more of a thought experiment. In other words, what they're trying to do is kickstart a debate within science and within academia and perhaps with the public as a whole. But as I say, they're not claiming to have found something. They just want to talk what ifs.
What stood out to you the most about this research, this paper? And I keep saying research, but it really is more of a paper, as it's essentially thoughts.
It is. And now, traditionally, when we talk about UFOs, and recently, of course, this subject has come out of the fringe and into the mainstream, and we've had, for example, hearings in Congress, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why this paper has been written. But traditionally, when we think about this, we tend to think of it in a very binary sense. People think either this is sort of some misidentification of ordinary objects and phenomena, or it's extraterrestrials visiting the Earth. And what this group of scientists are trying to do is say, let's shift the debate. Let's consider some more exotic possibilities. And that's why, as you said in the intro, these ideas that perhaps these things are not necessarily aliens visiting the Earth, but maybe they are some sort of life form that has evolved on Earth in parallel, and maybe they're even living amongst us in human form. I know it's a great old science fiction trope, but I think that's why something like this is not just interesting, but fun, because it catches people's attention. And as I say, with this subject now being discussed in Congress, it is time to have a proper debate about it.
For sure. And we know that the researchers there, the scientists involved, they did say that they want the scientific community to keep an open mind, quote unquote. So what do you think the reaction is going to be from the science community as they look over this paper?
I think it will be mixed, frankly. I think there is a lot of sort of very, very kind of conservative attitude in terms of not wanting to think outside the box sometimes. But things are changing, and it's interesting that this work is out of Harvard, because Harvard is also well known for being the location where Professor Avi Loeb does his work in the Galileo project. So, of course, as well as being a world-renowned physicist, astrophysicist, he leads the